What's going on, everybody? Hi, Mace here. Today is Monday, May 12th, my 35th birthday. So I am starting something today, and I'm going to be documenting this. I don't know how long this is going to end up going, but I received a very special supplement from my good friends over at SupLocker, one of the new vendors here that is growing and making big waves in the supplement industry. Suplocker.com, check them out. Discount code ACE10. All right, cheap plug out of the way. Sorry, guys, it's early in the morning right now. I'm going to be heading to work soon, and I'm going to be trying out this supplement they sent to me. This is technically an oral peptide. Now, I've never tried peptides. From what I understand, a lot of them do have to be injected, and I'm not really into that whole idea. But this one here seems very promising. It's not an injectable, it's a pill. And from what I understand, peptides, when taken orally, aren't as bioavailable, meaning they're not as effective. But I've been looking for something to help with my weight loss. I keep fluctuating back and forth. I've kind of been hovering around 285 for God knows how long. Now, I know that I'm leaning out a little bit slowly. My body's recomping because I am putting on muscle. My upper body's definitely the most defined it's ever been. My arms are getting huge. The shoulders are popping, the back is popping, but I happen to have fat around the chest area, the stomach area, the sides, the handles, so that whole midsection is essentially pretty fluffy. And, it's difficult for me. As somebody who used to be 396 pounds about 7.5 years ago, I've lost a lot of this weight slowly, and it's gotten to a point where I've plateaued. I've done ECA stacks. I've taken a lot of high stems. I've taken yohimbine, alpha-yo. I've tried alternating, what do they call it, carb cycling. I've done so much crazy shit, and I'm telling you guys, the body, for whatever reason, thinks that I'm starving and it just doesn't want to lose weight. I will literally go on the strictest 1800 calorie super strict diet, which for me is crazy because I'm 6'4", so for me to eat 1800 calories is essentially starving myself. But I've done these crazy diets, and after a month I will drop maybe 5, 6, 7 pounds, right? Bro, 1 or 2 days of eating normally. I'm not even talking about cheating, binging, just eating normally, going back up to 2,600 calories a day. Everything, and I mean everything, is back up as if I didn't do anything for a month. So it's frustrating, it's exhausting, and people are telling me take Ozempic, GL1s, whatever. Listen, that stuff, it's new to the market, and there isn't a lot of research behind it, and who knows what are the long-term ramifications. I mean, who the hell knows what are the long-term ramifications of any of the stuff that we're doing, because I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. I'm saying that GLP-1s have potential long-term side effects, and here I am about to run a peptide for the next month, which might have potential side effects as well. So, I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I'm going to try this out for the community, and we're going to see where we land. So I hope you guys join me on this journey. I'm going to be documenting this entire process, so this final video is probably going to end up being pretty long. But this is something new, and they're saying that it might be getting FDA approval in the next 1 to 2 years. What I'm talking about is Tesofensine, which is a compound that not only is supposed to help with fat loss, but it's actually supposed to help with mood, long-term balancing of serotonin and dopamine. But it's not an SSRI, meaning it's not going to mess with your libido. It's not going to give you crazy adverse side effects, at least not at the dosage that I'm taking it at. So I'm going to show you what I got here in my hands, and you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. So what I'm holding in my hands is Diminish from Performance Labs, and this is, like I said, Tesofensine, right? 250 micrograms per capsule, which is a relatively low dose. Most people take 500 micrograms to 1 milligram, which is on the high end. 500 micrograms seems like the sweet spot for most people. Claims to be made in the US, okay. Research facts. You gotta love the research facts. 60 pills per bottle, right? So this is the bottle here. It's called Diminish. You got the warnings in here, right? For scientific research purposes only, yada, 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 not for human consumption. Okay, we're gonna be doing this. Anyway, so I'm gonna be running this one. And I actually already took my first capsule, right? I opened this one up here. It's just regular red capsules, and like I said, 250 micrograms. So I just took the first one literally like 10 minutes ago with my morning cup of coffee. And as you can see, my hands are a little jittery. I don't think it's from the pill. I think it's from the coffee. In general, I'm a very jittery person. Before I even started the high stim pre-workout stuff, a lot of people are going to tell me like, oh, you're jittery because of the high stims and whatnot. And I'm sure the high stims don't help, but I've had this like neurological, shaky situation going for way longer than I was doing the whole YouTube channel, so it's something I'm probably going to get checked out at some point, but that is not relevant to the video. But anyway, this is the product we're going to be trying out, and as of now, the plan is to run this at 250 micrograms for the first week, right? So today is May 12th. Took the one capsule, gonna run it for 1 week, so until next week Monday at 1 cap, and then I'm gonna up it to 2 caps, because from what I understand, this here has a very long shelf life. You take it in the morning and it lasts literally the entire day, so you don't need to like split the dose or anything. I'm gonna take 250 every morning with my morning coffee. I'm gonna bump it up to 500 and I'm gonna stay there, not gonna bump it up higher than that. So I think I should be getting about 5 weeks out of this bottle. A little bit more than a month. So we are going to get the results and you guys are going to see. I'm going to let you know if I slim down or anything. And I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Diminish brand of Tesofensine. All right, good morning, everybody. It's Friday, May 16th. I'm on my way to work right now. I'm about to start my morning pickups, doing my morning ride over here, and I figured I would give a quick little update. So today is day 4 of me running the Tesofensine, and I know it's supposed to have nootropic types of properties. It's supposed to help you kind of be focused and alert and on top of things, and it's supposed to kind of balance out your mood, so it's supposed to really help with serotonin production and a little bit of dopamine production as well. It's not an antidepressant, so it doesn't come with those negative side effects like lethargy or low libido or anything like that. So that was one of the things that to me was very appealing about this, and it also has fat burning properties. That's the main reason I'm really testing out this research chemical, this compound, which is supposedly in the works of becoming FDA approved in the next 1 to 3 years. But I figured I would get a head start on it because high stim is always ahead of the game. But I've been taking the recommended 250 micrograms. It's just one pill every single day for the last 4 days. And again, today is Friday, so I'm planning on running it regularly throughout the weekend. And on Monday, this coming Monday, which is going to be exactly 7 days, I'm going to bump it up to 500 micrograms because I'm a big guy, and it seems like the general consensus is that for most people, 500 micrograms is the perfect dose, so you're going to get less of the side effects, if any side effects, and also you're going to reap the most benefits. 1 gram seems like way too much, and also I would run out way too fast because there's 60 pills in the bottle. So I already went through 4. I'm going to bump it up to 2 pills starting Monday, and I'll keep you guys updated. But the first 4 days, I didn't really feel anything on it. Today's the first day I'm actually kind of feeling like a good, not a mood elevation, but I feel good, I feel just right. Usually when I wake up in the morning, I'm kind of dreading going to work, and I got to get myself in this zone, whatever, this headspace. I'm feeling good right now, I feel great, actually, not like hopped up or high or anything, but I feel pretty good. So gonna be a good day, gonna be a good Friday today. Gonna hit the gym a little bit later, and I will keep you guys all posted on how the Tesofensine research is coming along. All right, so interesting development. Today is Sunday, May the 18th. It's officially been 6 days since I started taking the Tesofensine. Like I mentioned earlier, I was taking it just at 1 capsule, which comes in at 250 micrograms, and that is the recommended starting dose. A lot of people say that the 500 microgram dose is the perfect sweet spot. So I figured, especially for me, I'm a big guy, I usually need a little bit more to get going. I was planning initially on starting the 500 microgram dose tomorrow, Monday, which would be exactly 1 week. So I figured, let my body kind of get used to this new substance research thing that I'm ingesting, and I have a week under my belt, and then I can bump it up to 500 micrograms because that is really where most of the benefits are supposed to come in terms of fat burning, appetite suppression, and whatnot. A lot of people say at 250 micrograms you're getting more of the nootropic benefits, less of the fat burning benefits. So I ran it at 250. I figured, let me get in the week, let my body kind of get used to this thing, and then I'll bump it up on Monday. But today is Sunday, and I figured, I don't want to take a risk potentially tomorrow. I'm going into work, and Mondays are always hectic in my job, so I figured let me do it today instead. Let me bump it up to 500 micrograms today instead of Monday, because if God forbid something happens and it affects me in an adverse way, at least it's the weekend and I can kind of ride it out at home or in the gym and not at work. So I did just that today. I took 2 capsules of this, right, bringing it up to 500 micrograms, and it's interesting. I don't know. At 250 micrograms, like I said, the first 3 days I didn't really notice all that much, but Friday, 2 days ago, was the first time I started feeling those nootropic benefits, like a nice clear-headed focus, a good, like a mood elevation almost, but not like anything over the top, just very much in the background, but just very, very positive. So, I do think the dopamine and serotonin boosting effects are happening, and that is definitely a good thing. But today at 500 micrograms, I took it about an hour and a half ago. Right now it's about to be 11 o'clock. I took it at 9:30. I slept in a little bit today, and I definitely felt it a lot harder. I feel almost like I took a nootropic type of pre-workout. I feel this little buzz over here, but I also have this crazy brain fog going right now, which could be because I didn't sleep all too well. I actually slept pretty shit last night, not gonna lie. I sleep pretty poorly a lot of nights, which is an issue with me. But I don't know, yesterday I slept pretty terrible. I woke up like 3 times that night to pee. I had some crazy nightmares. I don't know, I slept terrible last night. So I don't know if it's because of the poor sleep or if it's because I bumped it up to 500 micrograms, but I feel this crazy brain fog. My eyelids feel very heavy. I feel very tired for whatever reason, but I feel also a buzz. So it's interesting. I don't know if you could see on the screen, my eyes are kind of like reddish glossy, and that's all I did today. I took just my cup of coffee, 2 caps of the Tesofensine, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I figured I'll document this. It's interesting. It's different. Today is day 6 officially. Tomorrow's going to be day 7. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do the 500 microgram dose, or maybe I'll just do another 250 tomorrow, ride it out at 250 for another week, and then next week I'll go up to 500. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet, but I'll keep you guys posted. Just wanted to give my little quick experience while I'm here. All right. It is May 26th, aka Memorial Day Monday, and I am actually on my way to work. Yeah, guys, some of us work on federal holidays. It is what it is, but we got to bring home that bread, got to bring home that scratch. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I don't know if you guys could tell. As I said, today is Monday. It's been exactly 2 weeks since I started running the Tesofensine at 250 micrograms. Last week, Sunday, I attempted to bump it up to 500 because that supposedly is the dose that really is most efficacious when it comes to fat burning and giving you the nootropic cognitive benefits. You really want to get in that 500 microgram dose. That is really, they say, the best ratio of mitigating the side effects, because once you get it up to 1 gram, you might deal with some side effects. But 500 micrograms seems to be the sweet spot, especially for fat burning, which is really the main reason I'm trying out this peptide. Now, I tried running it last week at 250 micrograms. Sorry, I tried running it at 500 micrograms last week, Sunday, but for whatever reason, it affected me adversely. I had crazy brain fog, and I couldn't shake it off until like 3-4 o'clock p.m. I have a feeling it had to do with my poor sleep I had the night before, because I slept really, really terribly. And for whatever reason, I think it affected me the next day. I took it and it was a little too stimulating mentally, and it just kind of burnt me out for the rest of the day. But luckily for me, yesterday I ran one of my favorite sleep aids. It's probably been like 3 weeks since I ran a phenibut-based sleep aid. I did run the Anesthetized yesterday from Blackstone Labs, one of my favorites. And I slept pretty good. Probably fell asleep around 11:15 p.m., which for me is pretty early. I usually go to sleep around midnight. So I did go to sleep a little early. Woke up at 6:30 today. Like I said, I got a full day of work ahead of me, but I feel good right now. Took the 2 caps in the morning with food. I did not take it on an empty stomach. Took it with a protein bar and a yogurt and a cup of coffee, and I'm feeling pretty darn good right now. So yeah, it's early. It's about 7:50 a.m. right now. I'm starting my morning route, but I'm feeling great, and we're gonna keep this 500 microgram dose going. I will be taking it with food and seeing how it goes. All right, guys, so today is May 30th, the last day of the month, I do believe. So I've been running the Tesofensine now for close to 3 weeks. This Monday is going to be exactly 3 weeks since I started running it, and I have been running it at the 500 microgram dose for the past week. I did start on Monday, and I gotta say, guys, I feel pretty darn good. It's actually very, very solid, and it's interesting because this is definitely a case of one of these research ingredients that takes time to saturate in your system. You know, you guys got these pills you could take every day, these like nootropic pills, these stimulant fat burners, and you're gonna feel them essentially instantly, right? You're gonna take the pill within 15, 20, 30 minutes, you're gonna feel something. It lasts more or less the whole day, half a day, whatever product you're taking, whether it's like a thermal spark, whether it's a KJ Labs Oxymelt, or whether it's something like the Happy Bee, which I did review recently. It's already up on my channel. But you know, you got a lot of these products that work instantaneously, as opposed to something like a Tesofensine, which takes time to saturate into your body, and you don't really start reaping the benefits until about 2 or 3 weeks in. So it's very interesting the way it works, and there's a lot of ingredients like that. Also, you know, like natural test boosters such as ashwagandha, right? I'm personally not a big fan of ashwagandha, but that is something that you need to saturate in your system for like almost a month to actually start reaping the benefits. Creatine also is another such ingredient. You don't actually see the benefits immediately. So with Tesofensine, it's very, very interesting because, like I said, the first week didn't really feel all that much on 250 micrograms, maybe like a slight head buzz, but really nothing too crazy. And the first time I bumped it up to 500, it was a little overwhelming because I had really bad sleep the night before, and I think it just kind of shocked my body. It was a bit of an overload type of situation, and it wasn't a great experience. So I went back to 250, and then for the third week, I've been running it at 500, and it's the perfect sweet spot. So far, no negative side effects, no issues sleeping. A lot of people report there's issues sleeping when you're running the Tesofensine at higher doses. If anything, it's actually been helping my sleep, surprisingly. I sleep like crap most nights, you know, just twisting and turning, always got thoughts in my head. You know, you can't shut this off, you know, even late at night. But the Tesofensine, surprisingly, I've been sleeping better. I've just been taking melatonin on most nights, haven't even been really hitting the heavy sleep aids. It's been great, so can't complain. I'm pretty happy about that. In terms of fat loss and appetite suppression, right, because this is the main reason that I got on it personally. I mean, the little buzz you get every morning and the nootropic benefits, like, that's all great, you know, but for me, I really want to do it to recomp, you know, to help with the fat loss and whatnot. Today is Friday, like I said, May 30th, and I'm noticing for the first time the appetite suppression benefits. I had my morning cup of coffee, and I actually got myself a second one here, right, for the drive. I'm starting my work day, so I need my second cup of coffee. And all I had today was a skyr yogurt. Those are like really high protein Icelandic yogurts that I really, really like. And I'm good. I feel like I'm not even thinking about food at all. So we're gonna see how the day progresses. We're gonna see what it's like this weekend. I'm off till Wednesday, so I'm pretty happy about that. I have a couple of days off, nice little extended weekend situation. Plan on hitting the gym hard, plan on taking my thermogenics, plan on utilizing the sauna. You know, I've been dealing with pain all over my body, been going to physical therapy, so it's been a little hectic here, but so far so good. I'm really happy with the way that it's all been progressing. I'll see you guys in the next update. All right, guys, so today is Wednesday, June 25th. We are nearing the end of the month. We are nearing the end of my cycle. Actually, that's not true because I do have a second bottle of Tesofensine, which I will be running. I will be continuing to run it. We'll be continuing to monitor the results, and there will be a follow-up video to this video here. But it's been a while since I did an update. I think I haven't updated this little blog here in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, but I do have 2 capsules left here in the Tesofensine bottle, the Diminish from, what's this company called? Performance Labs, right? So I got this one from suplocker.com, but unfortunately there's certain things that they had to take off the website, you know, due to the FDA, whatever. So, you know, in the end of this video, I'm going to tell you where to pick this one up and, you know, with a discount code and all that other fun stuff. But I wanted to give you an update from like the last 2.5 weeks because I haven't updated in a while and I don't even remember what the last entry was. I think, as far as I remember, the last entry that I recorded, I was at 500 micrograms because remember, I started at 250, I bumped it up to 500, I went back to 250, and then I bumped it back up to 500, right? So actually, about 2.5 weeks ago, I brought it back down to 250. I don't remember if the entry before this one, if I discussed that or not, but basically what happened was that at the 500 microgram dose, this thing started getting a little crazy. Keep in mind, this messes with your serotonin and dopamine production, and every human being is a unique individual. And when you're taking a drug like this one, and this is a drug, this is a research product, right? This isn't a fitness supplement, this is a research product. Okay, let's not be delusional here. So I've been running this. It's been an interesting experience, pros and cons, obviously, as with everything. But I came to realize that 500 micrograms for me is just a little too much. It was kind of fun for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, because it's almost like taking thermal spark. You guys know how much I love thermal spark. It kind of unlocks a part of your brain that really makes you function a whole lot better. And at 500 micrograms, it really does do that. It gives you a kick of energy. It puts you in a good mood. Not like feeling stimmed out or anything like that. You don't have an elevated heart rate. You're not like jittery or anything like that. But it's a very mental kind of experience. Very similar to thermal spark. Really very similar at 500 micrograms. The problem is that what happens is that you mentally get overstimulated. And I'm only speaking for myself, right? You get mentally overstimulated, and it got to the point that it really started affecting my sleep, and it also kind of started affecting me at work, where I would just be hyper, not hyper in the sense of like I'm hopped up on stims and I'm hyper, but mentally it would just make me a little bit faster, a little bit speedier, which, in a way it's a good thing if you're trying to be productive. But when you're dealing with the grind of work and people are at a certain level, everyone's kind of here and you're here, it kind of messes with the synergy of things, so mentally you're about a step or two ahead of everybody else, and sometimes it could have, unexpected consequences. So to me, it was a little bit too much, and the fact is that it really did start messing with my sleep. Like, my brain wouldn't be able to shut off, even running some good sleep aids, even something with phenibut or whatever. Like, physically, I would be tired. I've been pushing really hard in the gym these past couple of weeks, and I did lean out, which is great. I do attribute at least part of that to the Tesofensine, which is the reason I started taking it in the first place. But mentally, it just kind of started wearing on me, and I did decide to bump it back down to 250. Now, at 250 micrograms, if you're running it for a couple of weeks, you won't feel it as much as 500, obviously. It's half the dose, right? So that sense of alertness, almost like that little nootropic high that you get at 500 micrograms, you don't really get that at 250, especially this is already week 6 that I'm on this product here. So at 250, you feel it like maybe at 10%, but at that 500 microgram dose, it felt nice. I really like the feeling. However, despite the fact that it felt really good at 500 micrograms, it was a little bit too much. I started being so mentally stimulated to the point where I couldn't sleep properly, and that started affecting other aspects of my life. My drive was a little bit down. Surprisingly, my libido went down a little bit while I was on Tesofensine, which is weird because it's not supposed to have those kind of side effects, but you're dealing with hormones, you're dealing with the brain essentially, right? Like, I'm not a scientist, guys. I'm not a chemistry major. I can't really break it down all fancy for you, but I'm just telling you based on my experience, this is mentally a stimulatory overload at that 500 microgram dose. And it makes sense now why almost every single company that sells this product sells it at 250 micrograms. It makes sense, guys. So I like it a lot more at this dose. I did bring it down, like I said, about 2 weeks ago, and I've been running it at 250 since. So technically, with this bottle here, you are getting 60 capsules, which if you just take it at 1 cap a day, you're supposed to get 8 weeks out of it. I got about 6 weeks, maybe a little more, like 6 weeks and a day, 6 weeks and 2 days, whatever. Because again, I did bump it up to 500 micrograms for a little bit, but now I brought it back down to 250. And I do have a second bottle. I am going to continue running it at 250 because I do like the effects. It definitely helps on a physical aspect with body recomposition. I haven't weighed myself in a couple of days, but I do believe when I first started taking it, I weighed in at 287. So the main focus for me isn't really the scale. I'm not really putting as much stock in the scale. It's more how I look. If I still weigh the same by the end of this experiment, but I see that my composition changed, that I'm more defined, there's more striations on my body, that I have visually leaned out, then I will be happy. So we're going to go ahead right now. We're going to check on the scale just for the hell of it. I just got back from the gym running the all new Time Cop from Apollo Nutrition. It's actually right over here. By the time you guys watch this Tesofensine 6-week experiment video, this review will have already been up on the channel, so you guys can check it out. But yeah, this was a very good pre-workout. I really enjoyed it, and that is despite the fact that I'm on about 4.5 hours of sleep right now, which, by the way, I do think the Tesofensine contributes to that and the crazy heat we've been dealing with. It's been crazy. So let's do the final weigh-in, guys. And like I said, I have 2 tablets left, so 2 more days. Tomorrow's Thursday, and then it's Friday. So Friday is going to be my last day of this cycle. Again, 6.5 weeks, but I'm going to call it 6 weeks just for the simplicity of it. And that's it. I will see you guys back here for my final thoughts. Let's do that weigh-in. All right, guys, so it's time to do the weigh-in like I discussed earlier, and we have the scale right over here. Now, keep in mind, it is Wednesday evening right now. It's about 8 p.m., so usually you do weigh in a little bit more in the end of the day as opposed to the beginning of the day. But anyway, for curiosity's sake, let's see what we're working with. And it looks like we're at 284.8. Okay, that's a win. I'm going to take it. That is definitely a win right there. And again, I'm not really putting all my stock in the scale, but it's nice to see the weight down. All right, guys, so we have finally made it through all that footage. I do hope you guys stay tuned for all of that because I thought it was pretty entertaining and interesting, but we are finally here, and I'm going to give you my thoughts, my closing thoughts, and tell you guys what I think. So overall, I think Tesofensine shows a lot of promise. It's very interesting. I took it mainly to try to lose fat because people were comparing it to Ozempic. Let's be real right off the bat. This is not going to be like Ozempic, okay? I don't know anything about Ozempic. I'm never going to try that stuff in my life, but the rapid weight loss I see people getting on it, don't expect to get it from this peptide here, okay? I'm just keeping it real with you, but it will curb your appetite to a certain degree. It's not the appetite suppressant like from a DMHA pre-workout where you feel nauseated and you just don't want to look at food. It's not like that. It just makes you feel so content with just doing whatever it is that you're doing. The serotonin production in the brain and the dopamine just interact, and you're essentially where you need to be, provided that you are on the right dose. Because for me, 500 micrograms was too much. 250 is the sweet spot. People take up to a gram, which I think is crazy, but we're all different. We're all unique individuals, and it does affect us all differently. So it does make you feel content with just going about your day. You feel productive, you feel good, you feel alert, but not too stimmed out unless, again, you're taking a higher dose than you're supposed to. So the appetite suppression, it's not like a classic appetite suppression like you would get from a fat burner or an illicit pre-workout where it just makes you feel nauseated. It doesn't do that. You just feel content going on about your day. You have enough energy, you're focused, there's no brain fog, and it just makes you feel content with doing whatever it is you're doing. So overall, I do think it is a solid weight management tool, but if you're expecting this to be something like an ECA stack or Clen or, Ozempic, don't expect that, okay? This will aid you indirectly. I definitely feel like I leaned out over the past couple of weeks. I actually did just weigh myself today, and I am officially at 282. Didn't record the clip, not going to record the clip, but you can take my word for it. So overall, I'm down 5.5, 6 pounds, and that's just looking at the scale. But when you compare the body composition, even in the beginning of the recording of this video here, to where I am right now at this very moment, I definitely leaned out, and there's no question about it. So it's more of a recomp kind of lean out, provided your diet is on point, you're tracking what you're eating, you're training hard in the gym, you're pushing hard. Everything needs to come together. The entire lifestyle needs to come together. Don't expect this to be a miracle pill where you're just going to pop it and voila, it's going to create a transformation. A true transformation comes from within, and you have to be committed to the entire lifestyle. Now, if Tesofensine sounds like something that you're interested in, you want to do your own research, you want to look into it, then the only way to get it is by hitting me up over on Instagram at Heistemay. Send me a message and I will send you a link to the website that has it in stock. Unfortunately, the FDA keeps a lot of eyes on these types of products, and the only way to get them is by actually knowing somebody on the inside, which Heistemay does, because Heistemay has always got your back. So shoot me a message on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, give a big like to this video for me documenting the entire 6-week cycle, comment below, ask me whatever questions you want, and I will be open and transparent with it. And most importantly, subscribe right here on YouTube. I will see you all next time for the next Heistem pre-workout review. Take care, everybody. Heistem Ace. Signing off.